Hi, I'm Emma Coble. I'm a licensed professional counselor in Colorado. And today I'm going to be talking with you about parts of ourselves that a lot of us really don't like. And these are the parts that often seem to be doing very self destructive things, like numbing us out in some way through things like doom scrolling or binge drinking or eating or shopping. These parts are ones that are the most hated in our systems generally. We all have them. In internal family systems work, these are called firefighter parts because these parts come in to put out the fire when there's distress in our system. And so you might be familiar with this. It might come into your life in a variety of ways. I've had clients who notice that they do things like, sit on the couch and zone out for hours, or disassociate, or do things like I said, like binge eat, or these things, or maybe just like watch show after show after show after show. So again, a lot of people hate this about themselves. They want it to stop, but I'm here to tell you the answer isn't to just fight with these parts and to try and force them to go away, because the more we do that, the more these parts feel unheard and unseen by us. So the first thing to notice about these parts is why they're here. And so the first thing I would say, if you have these parts of yourself that you are trying to work on or that you're trying to establish a better relationship with, is to get curious about your relationship toward this part. To first of all recognize that this part isn't all of you. It's not the truth of who you are, that you just are a binge eater, for example. Like, you might be someone who from time to time eats past fullness. But that doesn't mean this is who you are. This is not your identity. You are bigger than this in terms of, like, there are so many other parts to you. So establishing that by even asking yourself, like, where you feel this in your body, what you feel toward this part. Because if you check in with this, a lot of times you might notice that you feel some like anger toward this part, or resentment, or like frustration, like just wanting this part to go away. So again, rather than making this part go away, I want you to think about actually getting curious with it. Like, trying to understand, like, what is it afraid would happen if it weren't there taking you out of the situation, if it weren't putting out the fire and encouraging you to go get that other drink or smoke that extra weed or whatever it is. What is it worried you might have to feel? So check in with that and just see, like, what it is. Sometimes underneath there's the feeling of anxiety, and I would say to kind of probe a little deeper of, like, what's this part afraid would happen if you felt some anxiety? What's this part afraid would happen if you felt really overwhelmed? Is there on some level a feeling that you wouldn't be able to handle it? Then I would encourage you to get curious too about when this part started doing this. Like, when did it start taking you out in this way, or putting out the fire? And maybe it's looked different over the course of your life. For example, for me, when I was younger, I would kind of disassociate by like reading a lot of books and going into sort of an imaginary space in my head to get away from negative things in my life. As I've gotten older, that has changed and taken on different forms. So think about this for yourself, like, when and why did this start for you? And get really curious and be super compassionate towards this part, because frankly, it probably helped you survive. For some of my clients, it's actually like saved their life at times, because some of the things they've faced in their lives may have been so overwhelming that to feel them might have killed them at various points in their life. So to have like a little buffer before, maybe they had the tools or knew how to process these emotions was so necessary. So think about that for yourself. And then I'm wondering also, like, how old this part thinks you are now, and what it's actually wanting and trying to do for you now. So think about that. Like, does it recognize that you are now someone who is, you are safe to feel your emotions, and that anxiety won't kill you, that anxiety isn't actually a threat, and that it is actually a very healthy emotion, and discomfort is actually okay. So again, we're trying not to force this part to go anywhere. We're not trying to say like you need to stop this. We're rather trying to get curious and understand why, and help this part so it doesn't have to do this job anymore. So if you need help with this, please feel free to reach out. And if you live in Colorado or Florida, I can help you. And yeah, hope you can be gentle with these parts.